And welcome back, guys. Today it's time to talk about filters, and in particular about the Freewell Magnetic Quick Swap 2.0 filter kit system that you see in its case over here. Now, before we move forward in any of that, just be advised that Freewell sent me this kit to test out and to review, and I get to keep it, but I'm not taking any money. I'm not getting any money. They don't get to review what I'm telling you before you do, guys. There's finding that out together with you guys, and I promise my review is as unbiased as possible, but I wanted you to know about all of that. Now, with that being out of the way, Freewell, for those that don't know it, is a very well-known company that is very famous for doing really good filters. By the way, like my drone filters are from Freewell, and in my opinion, they're one of the best manufacturer when it comes to filters. So whenever they contacted me to request me to test the system out, I could only be happy because I value their product very highly. Now, what do you get in the box when you buy them? You get this white cardboard box, which contains the case that I just showed you, which I believe is made of faux leather, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, it feels nice to the touch, although this is not super important for what it is. And within the case, you will find 5 filters, a magnetic ring that goes on your lens, and a magnetic cap that it's made to cover your filter system, which is magnetic as well. Now, this filter system comes in 3 different sizes. It comes into 67, 77, and 82 millimeters filter size, and the key feature is the fact that it's magnetic. We will talk about sizes again in my purchasing and using guide that you will see in a next chapter. I guess in one of the next chapters. You can go there by looking at the chapter markers below the video, because in that case I will explain you how to purchase your kit the right way, because it's important. Now, that being said, on the inside of the case, as I mentioned, you get the ring that goes on your camera, and it's magnetic, on your lens, and it's magnetic. The 5 magnetic filters, which is 1 UV filter, 1 circular polarizing filter, 1 3-stop ND filter, 1 6-stop ND filter, and 1 10-stop ND filter. And as I mentioned, the filter cap, which also has a ring to help remove it from the filter themselves. Now, everything is magnetic, as I mentioned, and magnets are really strong, to the point where when you have to remove them, if you have them stacked one over each other, which you can do, but you gotta be careful, and we'll talk about that later, you kind of need to help with the other hand, just to make sure that you remove the one that you want to remove. Anyways, I'll take very strong magnets over weaker magnets every day of my life, because you don't want to drop these filters. That being said, the one thing that is important is also that each filter has a clear marking, so that you're not guessing what filters are you getting from the pouch, from the case. And the overall system seems to be really well thought out. Now, when it comes to image quality is really good for all of these filters. Now, of course, there's one thing that you gotta keep in mind. The more glass you put in front of your lens, the more the risk is to get some degradation of the image. However, these filters are really good, and even if you stack them on top of each other, you don't lose much when it comes to image quality. Sharpness remains the same, even with 3 filters on top of each other. There's a very light color cast in each one of those, basically more on the magenta side, but it's not dramatic, and it's basically unavoidable. Whoever claims that their ND filters is without color cast at all basically lies. There's always some color cast. In this specific case, is really manageable, and even if you stack them on top of each other, it doesn't ruin your photo at all, which is good. And if you're a maniac, you can tweak it with white balance, and it's going to work as a charm. So when it comes to image quality, you don't really have to worry about that, because optically these filters are really good. Even when you shoot against the sun, a very strong sun, and you stack more filters on top of each other, you don't really notice any kind of issue. And the system, the way it's done with the filters stacking on top of each other without leaving any room for air, prevents light from leaking in between filters, which is something that may happen with cheaper filter systems, especially the flat ones that you slide in. Those can easily get light from the sides or from the top, and when it starts reflecting within the filters, it's going to ruin your shot. Believe me, this has happened with other filter systems all the time when you go with very long exposure. With this system, it doesn't happen. Now, this filter system is mainly made for photos, and it does great when it comes to photos. However, although Freewell makes specific magnetic systems for video, more video-oriented, this can be used for video as well, because the optical quality is still the same. Of course, you have the convenience of the variable ND that you can have with other systems, again from Freewell. But if you're okay with that, you can definitely use it. If you're mainly a photographer that sometimes shoots video and needs an ND, and it's okay with not using variable ND, this filter system is really, really good for video as well. Now, power is nothing without control. And in this specific case, this filter system is really powerful, but you need to think when you're using it, you gotta be smart in the way you use it. And how? Let's just say this. In my opinion, 99% of the times, you will never need to stack more than 2 filters on top of each other at any time. There are only very few occasions where you may need to stack more than 2. And while this filter system is really good, again, remember, the more filters you stack on top of each other, the more you risk to degrade the image. And not just that, but we're going to get that in a moment. Now, let's just see why I say that you should not have more than 2 filters at the same time. The common thing is you get out, you put this system on your lens, and you get with the UV filters just to protect your lens. Then you realize you may need a polarizing filter. So what you can do is you stack the polarizer on top of the UV filter, which you can do. And in that specific case, you're still with 2 filters, you're not risking that much with your image. Then you have a polarizing, probably you're maybe in front of the water and you want to slow down a waterfall. So you stack an ND on top of the CPL. At that point, the UV filter makes no sense. Just remove it and work with only 2 filters. Again, the less glass you put in front of your lens, the better the image gets. And any combination should not require more than 2 filters. Let's just say you need a circular polarizer, and on top of the circular polarizer, you need to also kill 9 stops of light. You would think that you can probably do the polarizer and the 6 filters and the 3 filters, because when the 6 stop filter and the 3 stop filters, because you know that if you stack them on top of each other, you're basically adding the amount of light that gets killed. Well, you should probably think again, because in my opinion, what you should do, especially with modern cameras, is that you just slap the 10 stops filter instead of the 9, and then the circular polarizer, and just bring your ISO up 1 stop. Because most of the cameras today are so good that if you need to slow down your image, you're basically at your base ISO. So you can definitely go 1 stop higher without losing that much. Actually, some cameras do even better when you go a little bit higher, but that's a little bit too complicated. But basically, instead of using 3 filters, 1 on top of each other, you're only using 2. Or even if you just need 9 stops without the circular polarizer, you can just simply use the 10 with just one filter and raise your ISO by 1 stop. Believe me, this is gonna get you way better result. Again, the less glass you put on top of your lens, the better the image gets. So there are only a few occasions where you need specific combination that go beyond 10 stops, where you may need more than 2 filters. In that specific case, you can use it with the limitations that we're going to talk about in a moment. Because when you're stacking filters on top of each other, you're not only adding glass, but you're extending this tube in front of your camera, which the wider it gets, the more risk introduces of having heavy vignetting. And in that case, choosing the right size plays a crucial role in what you're doing. So let me just say that you have all of your lenses are maximum 67 millimeter in diameter. You would think that you can probably buy the 67 millimeter having a smaller filter system because, hey, it's 67, I don't have to adapt anything, it's native, it's perfect. Well, no, it's not like that. You have to buy the size that is above that, especially if you're planning on using wide angles. Because when it comes to wide angles, those filters stacked on top of each other at the wider end of the lens are gonna definitely crop your image. Let's just say, let me show you. So my lenses are all 67 millimeters, but I requested a 77 millimeters thread. And to show you what I'm talking about, I asked to have a 77 millimeter thread lens for me. And with the 16-55 from Fuji, at the wider end, meaning at 24 millimeters equivalent, when you have only one filter, you don't see anything. When you put the second filter, you see a little bit of darkening of the extreme corners. Once you put the third filters on top of it, you definitely see the image circle being reduced. Now, Freewell tells you that with 16 millimeters equivalent on full frame, meaning 10 millimeters equivalent on APS-C, you should have good result with one filter, but you risk of seeing the vignetting when you stack 2 filters on top of it. I'm telling you, with the 77 millimeter filter thread lenses and the same size of filters, even at 24 millimeter equivalents, I'm seeing that with the second and the third filter. So be smart, buy larger, especially, and I'll show you what I mean, if you're using wider angle lenses. Because the 16, if I use the same filter system on a 67 millimeter lens like the 11-20 from Tamron, and I use it at 16 millimeters, you will see that I can stack all of the filters together and not see any vignetting. Now, the image sucks because, of course, I kill the light. It's like 21 stops worth of ND between all the NDs and the circular polarizer. So I had to raise the ISO, I had to go f2.8, it was windy, and the image sucks. Don't extract the image quality out of that. But what I'm showing you is that with a bigger size, you get less vignetting. Of course, however, on the 11-20, even if I got the biggest size, I still see vignetting once I use the second or the third filter when I'm at the wide end. So bottom line, buy smart, buy the size that is immediately above the one that you think you need, just because it's gonna get you more flexibility. At the end of the day, what you're gonna need is just a simple ring like this, a step-up ring, €5, even less on Amazon, and you solve every problem. I'm really impressed with this kit. It's very convenient, it is well built, the glass is high quality, it is compact, and it's very strong when it comes to magnets and flexible when it comes to general usage. So I am really enjoying these filters, and this filters kit is gonna end up being already part of my daily kit for landscape photography, because it's so easy to use and so convenient to use that I cannot think about not using it in my photography. However, if I had to find a couple of things that I would improve, I would probably request to have a ND grad filter, the gradual filter that goes from clear to very dark at the bottom, a 3-stop grad filter instead of the UV, because I don't use the UV that much, but I would use the ND grad more than that. And more than anything, what I would ask is to have a simple loop to get my waist belt go through here, so that whenever I need to use it, what I need to do, I just open it. Even if I'm walking, even if I'm standing, I don't have to worry about it. I just open it. It's being held like this. You get the filter that you want from here. You put it on your camera, you just close it. And even if you don't close it, you can still work with that. And once you're done, you close it and you go. It's a minor improvement, and none of these is a showstopper, but that's what I would ask on a version 3 of this kit. Anyways, for the price, which is right now 150 euros or dollars, you don't get anything better than that. It's a very high quality product at the right price. It's worth every euro or dollar that you're spending on it, because it's that good. For me, it's highly recommended, and again, there's not much I can say about that. It's really good. It's really good. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.